Hello, Maple. Firstly, I must just say I am so sorry for having done no recordings this week so far. I've just had one of those weeks where I've had things to do, places to go, things to do for my mum. And then by the time I came back on the evenings, it was too late and the fairy lights in the back don't work. So apologies for that. My only, nice excuse really was that it was my birthday on Tuesday. And I had my children come over, and my mum and sister at some point. They all kind of took it in turns, which was lovely. So that's a reason for Tuesday. But don't tell anyone. But now I'm 64. Can't believe it. But anyway, still celebrating. So enough of that. Let's get back on with time travelling with the hamster. Now, when we left Al, he'd gone back to the lab, hadn't he? And it was this foggy smoke, a ball of flames, and he heard a fire engine pull up and a voice sort of say, "Sarge, I can see a boy in there." And then I think he passed out, didn't he? He collapsed. So let's see where we are now. So chapter 70. I've never remembered this conversation before, I don't think, or maybe I've remembered it and didn't understand its significance. Did I mention that my dad was a bit weird in the days before he died? If I didn't, it's because of a kind of loyalty, I guess. I want you to think the best of him, just like I do, and I don't like remembering how he made me feel. My dad hugged me, sure, but in the last couple of days he hugged me longer and harder, like really hard, so that actually it hurt a little bit. And he took to kissing me, which I know loads of dads do, but my dad didn't really do that. Not since I was very little. I did mention that though, didn't I? Anyway, a couple of nights before he died, he came into my room when I had gone to bed and I asked him to tell me a story. And he went very quiet. "From when you were little?" He shook his head. "Not tonight. Tonight is going to be a made-up story, Al." I didn't really mind, even though Dad's made-up stories were a bit rubbish usually, but it was just nice having him there, and this story was one that sounded like he planned it. I mean, Dad's stories were normally full of hesitations and stuff, because he was making them up as he went along, but this one wasn't. There was once a young man who lived in a village next to the mighty Ganges, and one day he was visited by the goddess Kali, which in Sanskrit means "she who is death." Ooh. And she is a very scary goddess with a blue face and a necklace made of the head she is cut off. Gross, I say. Yep, completely gross. And she said to the young man who was called, Trevor? It was part of the fun with Dad's Indian stories to give the characters names that were as un-Indian as we could think of. Yes, Trevor O'Sullivan. And she said to Trevor O'Sullivan, "I shall give you the gift of clairvoyance." "Oh, Trevor, what's clairvoyance?" "Seeing the future." And he said, "Oh, great Kali, ta very much." And he went down to the Ganges and peered into the water, where he was told he would see his future. But nothing did he see, and verily he summoned Kali thus. "Oh, Kali, come here." And Kali appeared before him and said, "What do you want, Trevor O'Sullivan?" And he said, "I can see no future." And Kali said, "Funny that," and sliced off his head and strung it on her necklace. "Ooh, that's nasty." Indeed it is. And the moral out is, if ever you are offered a look at your own future, never take that offer. The future will look after itself without any help from you. And he hugged me hard and kissed me. Oh, that's a bit ominous, isn't it? Well, I'm going to do another chapter because I owe you this at least. Chapter 71. When I came round, I'm not even sure that I have come round. My head is hurting really badly, especially at the back, like I've fallen backwards and banged it. My eyes are stinging and I don't try to open them, and there's something cold on my cheek, which I take to be the floor. There's also something around my neck. Tight. Yet, so far so good is the first thing I think. Then, I'm gonna open my eyes soon, and I'll be back in my room shortly before this whole thing started. I open my eyes really slowly. Am I in my room? The cord of Alan Shearer's box has twisted round my throat, but I can loosen it, and luckily Alan Shearer is unharmed, which I'm relieved about. But still, I am in my room. I know I am because I am staring upwards out of the window, and I recognise the tree in next door's garden and the line of roofs opposite. This is the room I left, with Mum pounding on the door and Grandpa Byron's face in the window as I disappeared. I sit up and rub my eyes and do that thing when you ask yourself if you're in a dream, just to make sure you're not in a dream. I am not in a dream. Also, this is not my room after all. The door's in the same place, the view out of the window is the same, but the bed is along the other wall. There's a different duvet cover on it, the rug is different, there's a poster for a band I've never even heard of on the wall. So whose room is this? From downstairs comes the sound of a television, and from the next room the sound of a shower. Removing my feet from the zinc buckets and standing up, I go to the window. Oh my goodness, I mumble to myself. This is my room. Outside is the little back garden I look at every morning. The house next door, everything is as I had looked at it last time from this position. I look around the room again just to check, and at first I think Carly must have moved into my room while I was away in 1984. But I set the return time to exactly when I left. By rights, Mum should be thumping on the bedroom door, Steve should be shouting at me, and Grandpa Byron's mouth forming an astonished. Then the bedroom door opens, and in walks Carly in a dressing gown, toweling her hair dry, and she doesn't see me at first. "Hi, Carly," I say. That's when she does see me. Her eyes widen, and she emits a shriek, a long scream of absolute terror. "Hey, Carly, it's okay. What's up with you?" I ask. Who are you? Get out. Take what you want, take it. Just go. She's trembling and her voice is shaking. I stay by the window. Where's Steve? And where's Mum? My boyfriend's downstairs and my dad'll be back any minute. Really, he's just gone to the corner shop. He'll kill you. Jolyon! She's shouting really manically. Carly, stop it. Why are you being... At that moment things get really hairy because I hear pounding footsteps on the stairs and into the room bursts Jolyon Dancy, who looks at me in puzzled anger. Who are you? He snarls. And what are you doing in Carly's room? It's me, Al, I say. You know, Carly's stepbrother. Then, desperately, the hamster fancier. His face screws up in utter incomprehension and a kind of wariness. Get him, Joel. Do your karate on him. Jolyon immediately adopts a weird martial arts stance, feet apart, legs bent, hands aloft. It's almost comical, and I expect him to go, "Hi-ya!" But he doesn't. He just stands there with a tough expression on his face, and that's how we stay for the next few seconds until Carly says, "Well, go on then, Joel, get him." "Shut up, Carly," I yell at her, and it seems to do the trick. She stops and just stands there, her bottom lip wobbling and tears welling up in her eyes. "What have you done to my room?" I ask her. There's a pause while Carly looks at me pleadingly. "Please, just go." The fear in her voice is genuine, and I'm scared that Carly has gone a little bit off her rocker, and when people go a bit crazy, there's no knowing what they might do. They're very unpredictable. She was always heading that way, I suppose, teenage angst and all that. I try to slip past her and get to the door, but Jolyon blocks my way, still waving his hands around, still trying to look menacing. I'm a green belt. You don't want to tangle with me. He's right, I don't. But the way he's standing with his legs wide apart gives me a chance. I turn my head to look out the window and then I point and say, oh my goodness! It works. They both turn to look, and in that instant I draw back my foot and deliver a swift hard kick right between Jolyon's legs. Ouch. The sound he makes is horrible, a high-pitched squeak and a breathy gasp all at once. I feel sorry for him as he keels over, clutching himself and retching. I have plenty of time to pick up Alan Shearer's box, take the black box from the bucket and put them both in my backpack and leave through the bedroom door. Carly looks utterly terrified, and I feel bad for that. The stair carpet's different. It's the same one as when me and Mum moved in. Then it got changed. I crane my head to see if Mum's watching telly, but she isn't, and I guess she'd have heard the commotion anyway. It's the same house, all right. So many things are slightly different, not just the stair carpet. Things are arranged differently. The picture of Mum in a frame on the hall table isn't there. The coats on the rack are different. Halfway down the street, I see Steve coming towards me, carrying a bag of groceries. He's grown a goatee beard, like in a day, and it doesn't even suit him. Steve! Steve! Steve stops. He looks at me with a half smile. Hello? I stand in front of him and take on the same half smile and say, sort of conspiratorially, Steve, I think Carly's gone a bit cuckoo. Steve squints at me quizzically. What? Carly, she's just screamed at me to get out of the house. Steve shakes his head. Sorry, son, but who are you? I give a little sigh. Steve, man, come on. I've had a mad time lately and I don't want to do this. Steve has started to walk on now and I keep up with him. It's just Carly was being all weird with me and, well, Are you a friend of Carly's? Have you been round our house before? Steve! I'm getting bored with this now. Look, I'm sorry, son. I don't have a good memory for Carly's friends. What's your name again? Stop it. I'm really, truly impatient now, and I snap the words out. Hey, watch your step, son. We're outside our house now and walking up the front path. You wait, and I'll tell Carly you're here. Steve, just stop it. I'm shouting now, and I'm getting a bit upset. Where's Mum? Steve turns to face me now with his back to the front door. I think, son, you need to go home. What do you mean? This is my home. Steve just stares at me for a moment. Now go on, son, off you go. You've had your fun. Go, now. What? No. Where's Mum? Is she working late? Is she out with Annika? Now this is your last warning. You need to just go. He's not shouting, but his voice is rather menacing. And when he turns to let himself in the door, I'm left standing in the middle of the path, blinking hard and gulping, and holding the box with a hamster in it. Wow, well that's all very strange. What do you think's happened, Maple? Nobody knows who he is. It's like he's never existed. Very curious. Well, I'm going to end those two chapters there. So this will be for Thursday night. I hope you get to see it tonight. I know it's 2:45 now. So maybe you will check. Hopefully you do. I'm going to record Friday straight after. And I promise you I will be back to normal for Monday. So, okay. Bye for now. See you again soon. Bye. Bye.